Hi, I'm EJ. Welcome to my channel. I am the owner behind EJ's Creations. I have an online store and I do in-person markets. And today I just kind of wanted to talk to you about market prepping and all the things that I have been doing. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I honestly have just, with my regular 8 to 5 and just, getting home and just getting into the grind of making stuff. I just don't have time to film. That's one of the things. And the other thing is, and I have a good editing software right now. When I try to download one on my Mac, or my MacBook, it tells me my disk is full, so it won't let me download a new software program. And then I try to use what I have on my iPad. And yeah, well, it's a whole situation when it comes to editing. And so I need to figure this out. My MacBook is only like 2, maybe 3 years old. I really don't want to buy another one to have more space. And honestly, everything is on an external hardware drive. So I don't understand why it keeps telling me. And I know it has to do with all of the updates that Apple does, because when I go to clear things out, all you see is the Apple application and it's like all of it, right? It's taking up all the space. I just don't know how to remove it. So I don't have anything, like no files on my MacBook or anything like that. And so if you know a way around that, let me know in the comments below. But that is one of the reasons why it kind of stops me from doing videos, because I can't edit because of that. And then I have a new iPad. I should be able to do it on there, but it's another whole situation. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to figure this out. So much. So a lot of the videos might just be raw, not even edited at all, because of that reason. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's talk about, I know the last video I did, I had just finished a 3-day market and it didn't go really well. But then I was waitlisted for one of the markets that I did want to do the end of 2025. And they called me and said, hey, we have a spot. It's a 10 by 6, I think, or a 10 by 8, if you want it. And I said, yes. So I jumped on that that wagon, and I went and I did that show, and it was amazing. It was a 3-day show. Um, but it was amazing. It turned out really well. We actually sold out on one of the products, and I'll talk about that product in just a little bit. But we actually sold out, and the things that they were asking for are the things that I'm actually going to start to bring onto my website, just because that's what my customers are asking for. But I kind of took a break. I did bulk prep a lot of things already. And I kind of took a break, and I'm sewing a garment for myself. In this channel, we do talk about other things other than business related things, because I feel like it's important, to have to not just always do business, right? To share other things that we're doing. It still has to do with sewing. I've got it all cut up here on my table. So everything is good. And I actually have a pattern there that I created yesterday evening, to do another garment sewing. And I'll talk about those things when I'm done with that, and kind of do a review of those garment sewing projects. But for today, we're just going to kind of stick to the goal of what we've been doing for market prepping. And like I mentioned, I've been doing a lot of things that it's in my other room, where I call my warehouse, and that's kind of where I have my finished product. So I'm just kind of trying to build up on that. One thing that is going to be different in my shop is, well, there's actually going to be a few things, and the other things I haven't created yet, but this one I have, and I'll show you that. I created these cup koozies or koozies. So here's a small, this fits a 12 ounce. So I'm just going to have the one pattern, because I mean, crocheting is a lot of work. And then here is one that fits, and this actually fits the 16 ounce and 24 ounce cups from Starbucks. So these are based off of Starbucks sizes. So this one will fit the, I think, 16 ounce and the 24 ounce, I believe it is. And it's the venti. I always get a venti shy tea, so this fits it perfectly. And there's this one. And then I created I mean, I have a bunch of colors here, and I think I'm gonna kind of just stick to these colors rather than a ton, because you just never know. And then I created these little tabs to go on them, because these are not going to go in the microwave. These are particularly just for your um although they could, because they are cotton. I created these little tags right here, and it's going to be on like this. So I think that's going to be really cool, to add those. So those are things I need to do as far as for these cup koozies, is add the little tags to them. And then I also created the little things that go around it. So here it talks about the what it fits. So this one fits a 16 ounce grande and a 24-ounce venti. This is based off of Starbucks, and I do say that. And then it tells you, 100% cotton and what have you. I know I created one that talks about how to, well, maybe, yeah, here it is. Here it is. This one was the first one that I created, because I was kind of trying to see what they were, and I'm still going to use them because I don't want to waste them. But these ones here have the care instructions on how to care for it as well. So it tells you what it's made of, what it fits, and the care instructions. So these will actually fit around. Let me get this one, because these ones are not actually cut to size yet. Um, these will go around the cup koozie like this. So it'll fit like that. So it'll be this part of my packaging. Um, thing. So I feel like, and then I also have a clear sleeve that I'll put it in, just so that they're there. But yeah, so I've created my little labels for them, for the packaging part of it. I have the clear little bags for them, so those will fit, and they fit perfect. And again, I just need to stick the holes, and I'm not sure if I'm going to sew it on there or rivet on there. I think I'm going to sew it, just because it'll look a little bit better. And because of the holes, the pattern of this, I feel like it won't, if I were to do that, if I were to rivet, I don't feel like, because of where it'll be, I don't feel like it'll hold well. So I think I'm just going to sew it. I'll create the holes on there and just, stitch it on there. But there's that. And then I also created different planners. I don't have all of them with me. They're actually in the other room. So I created a business planner. And in that business planner, it also has a budgeting thing in there. Um, it has so many things that I actually created it to fit what I want in my planner. Yes, you can use Word. Yes, you can use Notions. Yes, you can use all of those. But what happens when you don't have internet, or you can't access those programs, or all of those things? I like to have a binder, and I like to always have that with me. So if I go shopping for fabric or what have you, I have this with me. It's there in front of me. Or if I'm at a coffee shop and I'm just sitting there, just drinking my coffee or my tea. For instance, I drink a lot of chai tea. If I'm there with my chai tea, then I want to be able to write. I don't want to have to take my iPad or my laptop with me and worry about, the battery dying or internet connection. I have it all there in front of me. Or if I go to the library for some reason, I love going to the library to kind of get ideas. So I'll sit and look at books, and I also read a lot, so I'll do that as well. So I'll borrow some books. But um I like to have that with me, just so that I can write in it. The other thing, and it also, like, when I go to work, if I'm on my lunch break or I take a break and I have my binder in my car, I'll just run in my car, sit there, and just kind of, if I've got an idea, I'll write all of those things down, instead of getting my phone and tapping it in there, and taking up more space so that I can't do other things. Just, it's frustrating to have electronics that are so much money, and then all of a sudden you can't really use them to the way that you want them. And I do have a lot of, like, I bought a lot when I bought my laptop, I bought it to have a lot of space, but all of those updates that Apple does really eats it all up. So I'm leaning towards getting a actual Mac, actual the computer, and then getting it to the highest thing, and then maybe not allowing the updates until I feel like doing it, because Yeah, it's just having to spend on that. And then my phone is not, it's only like a year, maybe 2 years old. I think a year old. And it's the battery doesn't hold. It gets really hot. Yeah, forget it. Like I'm done with electronics. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that, but I wanted to share that little frustration. I did create a binder yesterday, and I just did this really quickly, just for sewing projects, right? Because I do, like I said, I do a lot of garment sewing as well for myself, and I'm starting to get into quilts, and we'll kind of talk about that in another video. But I did create a binder for that. So here's the back of the thing. I'm going to laminate this. And then the front of it is that. And I just feel like, that way I could see the difference. I love blue and then with the flowers, I just wanted to, do something that fits me, right? So the pages that I have on there are like my sewing projects. And I just, for this one, I just used regular paper. I didn't use my fancy thick paper just because it's just for me, it's my sewing project. But my actual business binder and my work binder that I created, I have good quality paper so you can't see through the other side. And this one you can because it's just regular printing paper. And I did that on purpose. So the front part, like it has the sewing pattern, fabrics and linings and notions that you need. And then in the back of that, you can do notes. You could do, what the fabric cost you, what the total project cost you, if you're doing a coat or a dress, pants, whatever it might be. This is what that is. And then I also did, there's more to that. I should have separated them because I just printed them and I haven't put them into order yet. So then I have one that has, and now I need to, put it into its order, punch the holes and do all that. I have one section that talks about sewing plans and then the patterns that you want or are thinking about using, the fabrics that you want to use, lining, any notions in interfacing. So I do have that as well. And then I have one for, so those are like just to jot down sewing plans, right? Just whatever sewing plans you have. And then I have one for quilts. Like I said, I want to make this quilt. I bought a whole little kit and I cannot wait to make it. But we're gonna talk about what that quilt is in another video. So I put quilts, fabrics you need, what quilt size you're making. So we have twin, full, queen, king, or twin, or I put twin and I meant to put crib size, but that's okay because it's just for me anyways. The back, I have my notes, my fabric cost, the total cost of my project, just so that I get an idea, right? Because if you make quilts to sell, then you'll know, well, this is how much I paid to make the quilt, like the actual material. Then you can factor in what your labor is and the time it took you, and then have a total cost to sell it. But so this is kind of just the um, starting point. So like in the business planner, I also have that where, you have the cost of your material, cost of labor, cost of what you want to sell it for and what your profit needs to be at. So all of that is in my actual business binder. And again, yeah, I could use Excel, I can use Notions, I can use all that. But right now I'm not going to go that route just because I'm not having good luck with my newer uh, you know, electronics. I don't understand what the heck. And I know it has to do with updates. I really do. Because if you look, when you go to look at your space, you could see like how much photos take, music, documents. It's all like I've got like this much of just music and photos because I don't keep my photos on my phone or on my laptop. For that reason, I have an external drive. And then the rest of it is the applications, right? The everything that has to do with Apple. It's like big. Anyways, let's not talk about that. So yeah, so those are the things I've been doing. I did create this tote bag. Let me go grab that really quick. So this is a one-of-a-kind tote bag that I made. It is pretty big. And we'll talk about this in just a little bit. The inside is this. And I'll show you the side view. If you saw my reel, you would have saw the side view, front view. This is a pocket, and this is embroidered. This is denim. And then the straps are really padded. They're very soft. I kind of want to keep this for myself, but this is a one of a kind twilt. Oh my God, tote, and it is Ralph Lauren inspired, as you could tell with the bear and the colors that I used. I really love this tote. I think I'm gonna make myself one, but this is one of a kind that I have on my website to sell. So this is listed on my website, and it's really big. And I love what I did with the straps because they are very, very soft and it will not hurt your shoulder. And then I created an iPad laptop sleeve to go with it. So this one doesn't have no embroidery on it. It's just plain. It has um, the lining and you know, just my logo on it. But if you look at the quilting, they're a red that goes with the lining. So that is that, and it literally fits perfectly in here. So if you wanted to put your iPad in there or your laptop, it fits very good in there. See, it's just all in there. So I'm 5 feet tall. So let me just kind of move back so you can hopefully see this, and you'll see how that fits me. I'm 5 feet tall, so this has a lot of space here, which I felt like, you know, you don't know the person's size, so to be able to have that space here is good. And I love the width of this tote because it is pretty big, and I love how wide it is, you know, um, when you open it up. It's like 6 inches wide, you guys. So this is pretty big. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. It's sturdy because it is denim, and then it does have an interfacing to make it that strong. But yeah, so that's another thing that I made. I'm thinking I might make one more, but with a different, you know, character here. But these are one of a kind I would say quilt. I don't know why I want to say quilt. Tote bags that are quilted. This one is not, the outside is not quilted. I had thought about it, but I did not want to take away from the bear. So I did not quilt the outside of this tote. I might experiment on the next one that I make, just to kind of see how that's going to look. But I think this is, I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, if I say so myself. So we have, oh, we do have an inside pocket as well, right up in here. We have an inside pocket, we have an outside pocket, and it is pretty deep, as you could see. So you can stick your phone in there, you can stick your keys in there, and then you can stick whatever in here, or, you know, vice versa. You can stick it either way. I was thinking of making um, I guess not, I don't want to say a makeup bag, but just like an accessory bag, I guess, to go inside. So like if you want, you know, and I might make it just out of the the lining fabric because I want it to really match instead of making it denim because then you wouldn't see the actual lining, right? You would only see denim. You would see the lining, but when you open up the little bag. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I might. We'll see, but I am in love with this. And again, this is listed on my website. So if this is something you might be interested in, um, the I don't think I have. Yeah, I do. I do have the cup cozies on there. If this is something you like, and again, I have one that I made myself, and I have it over here. This is mine that I use, and my venti fits in here. This also, again, it fits a 16 ounce as well, but my venti fits perfect in here. And I love that this is in the bottom and it actually fits in my car coaster, in my little car holder thing, cup holder. It fits in there. So I'm really happy about that because sometimes when you make them and you're like on the go, it doesn't fit, right? So I know like making fabric ones because you use the batting, it makes it really thick. It doesn't fit in the cup holder. This fits in the cup holder perfect. So that's what I was aiming for someone to be able to have the full. I do have like the half sleeve, but I thought the full, I like the full one better just because the it doesn't, the water concentrate thing doesn't, it's not dripping everywhere. It just, it goes within this. This is cotton. You can wash it. It absorbs it really well. And then I love the colors. I might make some that have like, like I was thinking of like this pink with the black, like pink and black. I thought it might look cute. I might just do one to test. But again, they're going to be these same colors that you see that I have. I'm not going to do anything extra unless I mix them. But I think like the black and pink would look really good. And I also think that that pink would also look good with this one. So we will see if I play around with that. So yeah, I am working on making some for an actual um, coffee mug. The only problem with making a coffee mug coaster, or not coaster, cozy, is that the mugs are different sizes, and I don't want to just use, because I have a really big ceramic cup that I use for tea, and if I made it based on that size, it would only fit that size. And I don't want to do that. I do have an idea that I might do, that if I do one, I can make it to fit all sizes, but I have to play around with that. And right now I'm trying to do other things because I don't want to burn out on always making product for the business. That is why I stepped away from it, because I have been prepping for markets, because we know market season is coming up and we need to have the inventory, right? So I've been market prepping on, the other things that sell out of my web on my, when I do go to markets. I've been, working on those things. But I took a break this weekend. Today's the 16th, I think. So this past weekend, I kind of took a break from that, and I started to make a garment for myself, because I thought, you know what, I need to refocus my energy so I'm not burned out. So I kind of do that. I'll do, different things like, one day I will cut, and then I will like cut fabric, or one day I will match fabric, the next day I'll cut it, then I'll cut the batting, and then I'll start to sew a little bit at a time. But I take breaks to do other things, like I created the binders, I made some candles, so I'll just kind of take a day just to refocus on something else and then come back to it. So that way I don't dread doing it. I don't get burned out. And that's kind of how I balance my energy. Um, because again, I know just focusing on just making product can be stressful, and you can burn out and then not want to do it or enjoy the process. I love sewing, so I want to enjoy it, but I want to enjoy it in different things. So I'll either crochet, I'll make candles, I'll do binders, I will do other things, and then go back to sewing, right? Especially when I'm making product, because doing the same thing over and over and over, you could get burnt. You really can get burnt out. So again, for me, let's talk about what sold out at my last market that I did at the end of 2025. It was a 3-day market. I paid 320, I think I want to say, for the booth. And it was a 10 by, I want to say it's a 10 by 8. And I sold out of bowl cozies and pot holders. Like they sold, like I literally had nothing. I had hundreds of bowl cozies and I had zero. I sold out most of my pot holders. I have maybe, I had a basket full. It was like literally a big basket like this full, and it was stuffed, and I probably came home with 10. So those were things that sell out for me. I still have the box makeup bags. I didn't even sell one of those. I sold maybe one wristlet wallet. Um, I sold maybe 6 sweatshirts. That's it. No, actually, I sold 4 sweatshirts, not six. I sold 4 sweatshirts. I sold a Eddie the Elephant, um, crocheted stuffy. Or actually, I make them more for a decor. So that sold. Like I did not sell any of my makeup bags. None of the makeup bags sold. Um, I sold a lot of little chickens and octopus and stuff like that. But those are things that I'm trying to get. I'm trying to phase out. I'm trying to phase out those things so that I can focus more on other things, because I don't want to always carry inventory for years or have to donate it like I've had to do a few things that I've carried over, because I just got tired of always having it or discounting it really low. Um, so I have, like, I'm trying to phase out the little chickens and octopus and all of those little things, um, so that I could bring in other products that my customers are asking for. So yeah, that is what sold out of. That is what I need to make. And if you've made a bowl cozy, they're easy, but they're boring, and they are, to me, a lot of work for a bowl cozy. Because of like, maybe it's the way that I make them. Maybe it's, I don't know, but to me, I feel like they're a lot of work. So what I end up doing when you know what, let's do another video for that. But let's talk. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, the end of the 2025 market that I did and what I sold out of, and things that I have been kind of doing here and there, for the next market. But we are going to start to do more videos so that you can kind of see behind the scenes of what I've been making. I'll show you what I'm pairing with, what I'm doing, all of those things. And hopefully, um, it inspire you in some kind of way if you're trying to sell something. I do get a lot of people do ask me for apparel, like, but I'm kind of iffy about that, because if you sew garments, to fit a certain body is different than fitting yourself, because you measure yourself, you get that finished product. Sometimes you don't, to fit you. But anyway, that will be another video that we could talk about, because I did get people ask me for that, and I was just like, I'm not sure. So we'll see. So anyway, that's what I have for you. If there's something that you're interested in that I do not have listed on my website that I did not talk about, please leave it in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to do a video about that, and we could chat more in depth. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Until the next one.